Hopefully you've had a relaxing day. Mine has been pretty involved. A lot happened, so for now, we'll just hop right into it. And as usual, hope you can take this as a chance to just relax, enjoy, and take a load off after a day. Let's see. The reason I'm being a little bit more particular here is that I kind of don't want this black outline to be part of this hair strand, because that should be part of like the back of her hair. But like this brown outline should be part of it. So the curve is more like that. But see how this is a little bit more gradual than I would like? So I'm trying to just, I mean, it's less gradual than I would like. It's a bit. Sure what's going on with this, but don't want that strand to have its own movement. Maybe. Let's consider it like one of my friends is going to bed. I wonder about that edge. Let's include it. I can always cut it out later if I don't, but leaving it in and then having to cut it out again later would be harder than if I just included it from the start. this is better. Essentially what I'm saying is like here up and over shouldn't be part of it. So let's cut this whole part out. The idea is that this hair strand underneath will be moving on its own, so we kind of want to give it its own base, and it'll be in its own layer. Okay. Okay. Let's just go up and look at the cleanliness of some of the cuts. Isn't that good? Okay. Up here is kind of a mess though. Worry about that later. Minor stuff like that I can clean up off stream, I would think. Kotaro and Tachi, how are you? Hope you're both having wonderful days. Good to see you again. What have you been up to? Glad to hear that you're pretty good. So what have you been up to? Farming while watching me? Did it not change? Did I just forget to hit done? I could have sworn I hit done like 3 times before I started. I wonder if I should start over or not. I still think that a lot of my cuts are kind of iffy, but I'm also like not sure how precise I need to. And also I was originally just gonna do this entire like set as one giant block of hair, but I kind of want to make this 3 different separate ones. So let's see. This is the main outer part. So let's cut and paste. This is right here. Piece. Well, technically this is the left. So if I did this correctly, now if we go out and I turn off just this layer, you should see just this part disappear. And see how this little edge part is left behind? That's important. I wanted to make this its own layer so that that little piece of hair can like swing on its own. And then like this part underneath, like I have to inpaint this, and then this can get slick. Or let me ask you, what do you think you would be best? Should I have this all as one piece? It'll make it a lot easier to like rig, but it like limits the moment of like this whole piece will have to move together. I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing. Another thing that I could do is potentially rig it up so that it's one piece at first for like the first iteration of movement, and then the next layer it'll be actually its own thing like afterward. Like I can go back and cut it into smaller pieces later. I think both are viable. It's a question of whether or not you most people would be looking at that would notice that level of detail. I would. Perhaps in a way that's considered abnormal. So my pen poofed on me. That is fascinating. I'm like sitting here wrapped up in a blanket cocoon as I draw, so. Okay, what I can do is undo this being its own layer. Yes, that is correct. For now, let's go ahead and just let it be all one piece. So, Kotaro, are you familiar with, like, have you seen Live2D used before, like with a finished avatar? If not, I shall read. So, you know how a lot of VTubers have like a fully 3D like character, basically? But some of them have a character that looks kind of like 3D, but it's not actually 3D. Like, you can tell it's not a full 3D model, but it looks and moves kind of like it is. So those are actually Live2D, which is you take an image like this, you do all of the steps that I'm going through, and you can animate it. So for example, like your custom character that you drew, that you like showing me the pictures of, you could take a full body picture of her if you draw it large enough, cut it into very small pieces, or just draw it so that the layers are already arranged in a way that works well with the program, and then animate her from one image. It's just that in order for that to work properly, you need to be very particular in how you move your character, like how you either draw the character, or you're going to have a lot of work to do in the aftermath. Since I requested this as a commission from an artist who doesn't really do anything with Live2D, they gave me the image as a base. And so now I have to go through and do all of this to convert that image into something that can be used in Live2D. And I would, like, I'm cutting a couple of corners in terms of like making this entire thing one layer, which is why I was like unhappy with doing this. But I would also really much like to get to a point where I can actually start using her. So that's why I'm kind of like adding a little more detail. And saying like, if I can rig her myself, then there's nothing stopping me from improving her rigging later. But the tricky thing is that since if you start with a static image and then you move to a live 2D, you've got a lot of components that don't necessarily exist in the base image that would be exposed if you suddenly moved it, right? you know what I mean by that? If not, I'll explain a little bit more. Also, just again, thanks for coming by. I really enjoy having company. It's pretty nice. This part's okay to include. This part I don't want to include. No, not at all. Like I said, this is something that I hope is just like a nice relaxing thing you throw on in the background and just enjoy. And just get your curiosity sated, things like that. But did you hear my question to you, or would you like me to repeat it? So I was saying that the interesting thing is that once you start animating a character, especially if you're starting from a still image like I am, there's a lot of components of that image that don't exist that would be revealed if you were to suddenly start moving the character. Do you get what I mean by that? So the interesting thing is that you have to inpaint those areas as well. So like right now, I've basically, I need to go back up to this area. So see, I've basically got this entire hair piece as one piece. So I'm gonna cut and put this on its own layer. Show you what I meant. Okay. Let me make sure I did this right. Okay. Cool. I did it right. So a good example of this is her hair ornament, like right here. Let me turn her back on so this doesn't look creepy. Okay, so see how she has a hair ornament? If I'm like moving around or like bouncing up and down, the hair ornament wants to move around. Like what's in this base image, there doesn't exist anything underneath that ornament, right? Unless the artist drew it that way using specific layers in this program. But again, since they're not invested in Live2D, they didn't do that. So it's just one image. So I had to first cut the ornament out myself, which is how I'm able to make it go away like this. And then I had to paint her hair again underneath it. Because I left a giant, like, ornament-shaped hole in her head. So I had to patch it. So it's a surprising amount of work. So like for example right now, I'm gonna turn off everything else. And then So you see how like this right hairpiece, like I'm gonna turn off the other hair pieces that I've cut so far. I'm glad you like it. It took me a while to like get it commissioned, and like we went back and forth a lot. I'm glad that you like it. Thank you. She's basically based on me if I were a kitsune, so. So see how now, like, because the other hairpiece is gone, there's like nothing underneath it but like transparency. So the issue with that is now this hairpiece, if I like move, like if I move in such a way that this piece, like if I like shake my head and this piece moves to the left, like if that piece moves to the left, you would just see like blankness underneath it because there's nothing there. So now I have to kind of like study where the areas are. And like, for example, like her eyes. You see how like her eye comes over her hair? So I had to cut around her eye so that it didn't cut her eye as part of her hair. So see how now there's a hole in her hair too. I have to now go back to the right layer. So I believe it's this one. And now I have to actually paint those pieces back in to like fix the holes. Like I usually try to use a small brush, but since this is like a fairly big area, I'll use a slightly bigger one. And the reason I like using a smaller brush is because if I'm just lazily inpainting, you'll be able to tell, like, that it's all like one color and was done with like a super huge brush. Exactly. So I like to zoom in and make sure that like you can see how like there's actually some hidden gradients up here. Like if I were zoomed out, you wouldn't be able to see that as much. So I like to keep those gradients in place as I'm filling in. And then kind of like fill in around them. So that way, like, if I zoom out, you won't be able to, like, tell that, like, I inpainted over the artist's original work. Like, I'm not a trained artist at all, so I'm nowhere near like Yabby's skill level, for example. So like if I had to, so like inpainting is basically like testing the limits of my capabilities. I have the right, like, I think I can say I have the right sensibilities for it, but my artistic skill is not the right level. So now if I zoom out, like you see how this is like a different color than right here. Exactly. But like that's the sort of thing that I'm saying is like I am trying to work on that. So see how like if I zoom out, you can tell like right here this is like kind of nice, and then this all right here is like one kind of color mass that doesn't look the same. You can still see like where I edited. So what I do at this point is after I fill in this color, I use blending with fingertips to kind of like swipe the bottom color into the mixed area and kind of make it feel like a bit more of a natural color gradient compared to before. So now if I zoom out, like you can see I still need to mix some more pink into this. So I'll do like and see how now it's like harder to tell that like I did something in that specific area. But like it looks odd right now because it's in the middle of being done, but I just want to like show the principle. So like I don't want to actually see it, so I'm gonna undo a good chunk of it. Because see how this like this line looks a little different? I need to like connect this upward so that this line stays the same. And then this gets darker right here. So I need to connect this upward too. So I'm kind of like giving myself color gradients to work with. Of like, I know right here should be like this kind of color. And then over here it needs to be like this sort of color. So I do like little weird things like this to kind of give myself the idea of like where the hair needs to connect to. So you can kind of see how like now I've got these different gradients that kind of like separate the areas that I need to work in. And like there's some red patches left over from like the makeup that she had on, so I like have to like get rid of those as well. Okay, so now that I have like a concrete delineator, I can like fill in this area. To the point that I need to. Switch colors, fill in this area. Switch colors again. Switch colors yet again. This one down a little bit. And you can see, like, it takes a while, but you're starting to see, like, how the beams are starting to, like, connect and starting to look like the piece of hair that was, like, hair that wasn't originally there, right? It's very satisfying to me for, like, it to come together and, like, the details start to, like, look reasonable. Okay. And then so paint this one. So see? Now, like, especially on the left side, you can see, like, I did a better job, even though it didn't exist at all before I started. But, like, as I zoom out, I can kind of see, like, what I would need to do to, like, improve it a little bit. So I can, like,
fun and enjoyment and the peace of a very happy Christmas.
add maybe, like, a little bit like that, so it's not quite so jarring. And then, like, the boundary between these, like, this color up here and, like, this fainter color is, like, pretty severe. So that's again where, like, blending comes in, but this time I'll, like, actually use normal blend and, like, blend across the edges. And then, like, through each of these bands I'll go through and blend as well. Draw some more on the edge here.
The fun and enjoyment and the peace of a very happy Christmas.
And see, now if I zoom out, you can't really tell that that piece didn't exist to begin with. Especially if I, like, put the other hair piece on top of it.
May bring you God's blessing and all the things you long for.
So this one was to replace the... See how, like, her eye was on top of this piece?
Wherever you may be,
So this didn't exist at first.
all the fun and enjoyment and the peace.
But now, like, let's say if I were to, like, look so that my eyelashes would move, there's now actually hair underneath that looks normal. Like, I don't think for the like purpose of looking at it, you would be able to tell that like this didn't exist at first. So now I have to do this entire part. And this is a hard one because see how there's like an implied boundary that goes underneath this that I can't see? So I have to like figure out where that boundary actually should be. So I'm kind of like gradually sketching out a curve of like what I think it would look like, kind of. So it'll look kind of like that, and it would just join up at the top here. Like, I don't need to like super inpaint too much, but I do want to have like hair underneath that, so you kind of see like how this line kind of delineates this area. So now that I have like a really rough outline of where I'd like to inpaint, and it's like super rough, but it's good enough for what we need. Then I'm gonna look at the piece that's on top of this. I'll grab the color that's closest to the overlap from here. Maybe here. Yeah, like down here. Hide this piece again, and then start drawing up with that color. But I also want it to match the piece underneath, so I kind of want to pick a color that matches really well with like the underneath. Let's see. So as you can see, I'm like kind of inspecting the edge with a magnifier to like find where the color changes. And you can see it changes like 2 or 3 times. So like here's one change. That's another change. And then this is a 3rd change. And then out here, it's kind of like a 4th change. Exactly, the line art is where you have to be really careful. So I just tend to go very, very slowly and like extend out from each edge. And try to like make my strokes all the same direction. Doesn't actually mean anything, but I don't know. I feel like the results are better if I don't also do sideways scribbles and only do vertical. This is hard because it's such a big piece to inpaint with. So I'm just going pretty gradually to kind of get a feel for like, is this a good color or not? Like you can still see like a lot of transparency, but I think you can see like, aside from like maybe having these like horizontal stripes of like a bit lighter pink, kind of. Like this color is like a good fit. Or at least this edge area. And then like even with a little bit, I can still fingertip blend and like start swiping this up to like fill this in. Swipe these a little sideways, a little up. The thing you have to be careful about is that like, if you over swipe, you'll like lose definition on certain parts. Redo it, you can kind of see like the bottom got a little bit more blurred out. So if I don't want that to happen, I have to like draw in a little more firmly down here and then add more color before I start blending. And then if it's like, yeah, up here is all going to be the same color, I can make the brush a bit bigger. But I don't know, I really don't like using big brushes. That's just me. Also, I'm like a total novice, so I feel like just putting in the effort to get it right is something like that would be better for someone at my skill level. Tatsu, are you still there? Let's see, now I can actually start doing some blending. So yeah, see how like this part has been extended now? This wasn't there before. And it's just like slowly extending out from each edge given the sample that I have. And then making sure that I blend across the boundaries. So as you might imagine, it can take a very long time to like do all of this for the entire image. Like I think the hairpiece alone took me like an entire hour. naturally. I wouldn't have it any other way. The higher the resolution, higher DPI, higher the actual like base canvas resolution, the better your results can be. And like the more detail your character will have. And you can do things like give yourself like close-ups in the middle of a stream and still have time and make still look good. Exactly. And you can kind of see how like it's turning into like 3 different stripes, but like each stripe is a different color. Well, it's more like 6 stripes, each of which is a different color. It's very distinct how like each of the color stripes are. And if you zoom it out, you can still see it. So what I like doing is like once I get kind of like, for example, this area is like mostly okay. That's what I mentioned earlier, like blending the whole set together. Like do a little bit of like circular blending, which is really weird. Like I generally try not to do this, but I think I blended too much and that just looks like a mess now. That's why I was saying like I don't generally do circular because it really does like mix everything together. And it'll look like super weird. Like I think the main problem is like there's kind of like too much pink there and it doesn't really need to be. Should be like a little bit, but like not as much as I could. Adding like a little bit of little marks to kind of give it like shadow / undertone, but those aren't intended to be like left there. They're just for blending purposes to make it look a little more painted. You can see how it matches the outside a little better now. with the exception of this one area. Because the tricky part is, at this point, I'm fully underneath the other piece of hair. So like you can see how like this is kind of orangish on the ends. I kind of have to blend into that too. But at the same time, maybe I don't have to. Depends on like how much I want the underneath to look. It would be better not to have the underside look different. But you can kind of like see what I'm getting out of like, sometimes it just does turn into trial and error of like, what actually looks best? I don't know. I just have to try it. Yeah, and I think I inherited a little bit too much color from her eyes. Actually, this would be better to do with a fingertip blend. Right around this part, I can see it getting blurry. I need to like manually cover that part up. So yeah, in some cases being like zoomed in all the way doesn't actually help, and I just need to like zoom out. And then I just kind of mess around with it until I start seeing the result that I'm like, actually this is okay. It's starting to look a little better. So yeah, it just takes me forever and ever. But in a way, like despite it being slightly frustrating, it's also just really relaxing and cathartic to work on this. I can't tell if maybe it's just the fact that I'm like just doing something that's out of my norm, or if it's the lo-fi, or if it's some combination of everything. It's definitely better with company though, so thank you for coming by. This piece is like mostly like that. If I hide it, how's the color? Oh, this might actually be better if like not as orangish and it still looks like kind of pale. Blend that together. What color? How would that look? I kind of like this more. draw more with that. The cool thing, the like also interesting thing is that in terms of once you actually make the model and you want to put it into the Live2D, once you actually make the image, it can only animate each component, like each layer by itself. It can animate all the layers in tandem with the rigging and things like that. And you can map motions to animations and things like that. But the trick is that because each individual component has to have its own mesh to be moved, and therefore like everything under that mesh would be moved together, because it allows animation through like deforming the 2D image. So like for example, moving your eyes around, that's just a simple X coordinate, Y coordinate translation. But if you want to make it look like you're actually moving your eyes, then the highlights of light in your eyes need to move too, right? But if your eye is one entire layer by itself, then all of your highlights would move in the same way as your eyes, so it would be a little kind of... It'll remind the viewer that they are looking at a like fully 2D image. Because your eye, like the highlights will slide across your eye like they're moving on a plane, like, and they'll always be in the same, they will move with the same translation and the same whatever deformations occur with the rest of your eye. So if you want to give your Live2D a bit more of an interesting, like a 3D look, where like if you look around, the highlights in your eyes reflect differently as if the light is actually reflecting off your character. You actually need to have each individual highlight in its own layer, so that it can be deformed separately from the rest of your eye, and then you would map them together, like map the movement, like rig the movement so that they're moving the way you want them to. Like, the thing is, I'm not sure how much I actually need to color for this hairpiece, since you can see, like, a lot of it. Covers that up, but honestly, I should probably do all of it, because, like, there might be poses where, like, my hair, like, if I'm, like, leaning to the left, like, leaning to the right, like, the first parts of my hair would all swift over to the right, but this part would mostly remain stationary / lie against my face. Oh, Kudosu, since you like to tell the rise, did you see like where my party ended up? Did you see where my party ended up in Arise? I ended up doing like 95% of all of the content in the game. So there's kind of just nothing left to do with any further Rise streams unless someone thinks of something specific. Because I got to level 100, I opened, I crafted every possible weapon, I saw, I think, 314 out of 320 skits, did the DLC, earned all 47 achievements, opened, I think, 257 out of like 268 treasure chests in the entire world. Also, I'm curious if either of you, could have said, I think you also do art. So, like, and, like, obviously you do, but I meant, like, with a tablet. When do you know when to replace your tabs? Kind of. I thought I had liked that originally, but I think it ends up just being a little bit too much. Maybe I can blend the lighter color into this to make a better feel of gradation overall. Try to just mirror it like the piece next to it. Progress. Usually just wait until it runs out of, like, it actually gets to the point where it starts reading the wrong pressure. I might be switching my tips too early then. If I see them like start leaving scratches on my tablet is usually when I start switching. Well, like, not like super faint scratches, like... I also hold my pen at like a very noticeable slant, so my tip develops sharp points on one side. But as you can see, it's like a pretty time-consuming process, but it's very satisfying when it like starts coming together. I didn't mean to blend that. Progress. Very slow, very painstaking progress, but progress nonetheless. Going to start from up here and start coming down. Move closer up there. Definitely lighter color. Let's kind of like streak that through the middle of mine as well. Like this one. This kind of reminds me of Sonic Adventure 1. There's a particular song I want to listen to that hasn't come up in the playlist yet. I might just put it on. It's like one of the most relaxing songs I like to listen to. I'm hoping you like it too. It's from a game series I really like called Phoenix Wright. Or rather, the series is called Ace Attorney. And the name of the song, I'll explain when I put it on after this one. Let's try blending this together. Not bad, not bad. Cool. That looks actually really good out from like 70% zoom. Cool. Need to keep going though. We're almost there. I think it'll be super cool to finally like see Aki moving after I put so much work into it. I'm nowhere near done, of course, but I'm thinking if I can finish just her just like her upper body and stuff, that might be like a really good start. reminds me I need to switch songs once we're done with this part, so you can hear the nice the song that I wanted to play. It might put you to sleep. Alright, before I go ahead and put all the blending and everything into this part, I'll go ahead and try to cue this up. Because I think this part's ending. Just give me just a sec. Well, I can let the other ones keep playing while I'm playing up. Found it. I hope you enjoy the fragrance of dark coffee. You know, Kotaro, it's pretty trite of you to say objection. this day, I don't think they've come up with a better characters theme. Exactly. The song itself is already good. Chilling in of itself. And then the rain just next level. Oh no. I just got a pop-up saying that my tablet's power is low and that I should really connect it to my computer. It's pretty unfortunate. Close. It is actually Twilight Princess. It's Kakariko Village, you see. Good on you for recognizing it so quickly. I wonder how many of these you'll get. That's really good music. Yes. Correct. This is Breath of the Wild as well. I'm impressed. You are 2 for 2 so far. Good job. Do you remember where? In your hair from now. Okay, look, cut that off. I reconstructed the hair. I'm not sure about having this band in the middle still. What if I get rid of it? Let's make it less obvious. Let's do some horizontal blending here. No, I think it was better before the horizontal blending. See, look. That part wasn't there before at all, like any of it. Is this still part of her main body? Yes, it is. Okay. Took me 2 hours to do that one piece, but I think it came out really nicely. And I can hide it. Let's just see. So now we have an interesting quandary. You see how, because I've been cutting off pieces of her hair and now her head is like missing pieces? I'm gonna have to inpaint her head too. Like her face, like up here. I'll have to like repaint in and like redraw the lines around here. But I think I did a really good job like cutting out her hair. redrew on her face, but I left it like a darker shade so that it would be like the shadow of like her hair from above is like still on her face. So I need to do that to this part too. Oh, I'm blending. I was like, why isn't this drawing? This looks weird. Yes, you are correct. You missed the third one. Like you didn't say anything for it, but you are correct on this being the fourth one from Skyward Sword. No worries. But you see, like, it's a struggle to, like, sometimes perfectly, like, reconnect components that have been, like, deleted by the cut. Have to, like... I, like, need to inpaint very precisely at points. I don't think you'll get this one. It is not Twilight Princess. Sorry, that one was. That one was Twilight Princess. This is the one I don't think you're gonna get. That one was Twilight Princess. The one that you got. This one I don't think you're gonna get though. Cool. Her cheek has been successfully, faithfully repaired. And I have to do the same thing again for like right here. This is always like the hardest part, like redrawing the edges. Because it basically has to like kind of needs to like map to like the edge is like right here basically. So like interpreting it on the other side, it would be like this. Maybe closer. Is that your final guess? It is not Breath of the Wild. This is the one I did not think you were gonna get. This one is from Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. It was called A Quiet Moment. Consider that close or not, but I'll let you have it. I haven't played it either. I wonder if this facial curve looks natural. I feel like I may need to go outward a little more. Should go out. It's hard to say. I should look at the other side. This one right now? questioning Arara? Okay. Would you like the music to be stopped, or would you like it with the music continuing? You get your pick. So which would you prefer? I don't think this is the right trajectory. This is too sharp. Okay. あらあら、小太郎。なんでそんなこと欲しかったの？本当に興味深いですね。あらあら。欲しいですか？もっとのあらあら欲しいですか？I'm glad that you liked it. Just imagine once Aki will be able to say it too. I think I drew too sharply with this one. It's hard to say like which of these lines is right. That's the problem, like, of not actually being an artist. Like, situations like this where I have to, like, extend over a significant distance are, like, really hard for me to interpolate. I just have to try it a bunch of times. Accidentally do that? Or is that already there? Whatever. Hard to tell. I can fix it though. Imagine this adorable flute sing Arara to you in the future. But like at the same time, it's also forcing me to get better at drawing. Like you can tell I've improved, like even just across these 3 streams. If you like look at what I did in stream 1 and then look at what I did in like stream 3. Or even what I did in stream 1 and stream 2. Like there's a pretty noticeable improvement. You literally died. Feels bad. I'm glad you considered it worthwhile. That's all I can hope for. I'm so glad that you liked it. That makes me happy. That's kind of all I'd like to do is just make people happy. You're welcome to clip it if you like. I'm having so much trouble with this though. I'm not good at like drawing this far out of bounds with absolutely no reference. Honestly, I think the very first line I drew might have been better. History is. Can I just like hold this and just go all the way back? I can. I think this is okay to start. I'll keep it with this point. I don't really think any of the streaks I drew was particularly good. There's a button on the stream that literally you just push it. It looks like a pair of scissors if I recall correctly. And it'll load up like the last, I think, anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Or maybe it's just like the last like 5 minutes. And then you can highlight a specific section of that and click it. Thank you for your inari sushi. I needed a snack. Yeah, like my tip is starting to run out. Like I'm actually like almost down to the pen itself. Look, my pressure is starting to look kind of weird. But I'm just gonna blend this part anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, I'm actually gonna have to swap tips. I also probably should have just used a bigger brush. That would have helped, probably. I was using a very, very tiny brush because I was trying to draw her outline. Yeah, this is way easier. Blend this out. Just the edges, just a little bit, since it's a shadow, to make it look a little bit blurry. I think I over-blurred just a little bit. Okay. So edge-wise, I just want to blur like just a little bit. And then inside I can blur more. Oh no. Did I hit the wrong button? I did. That's fine. Tablet's almost done, but I'm almost done for the day anyway. I don't like leaving specific areas undone. Back to point line. I remember this one. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I feel like just having the color, it's hard to tell if like I've made her cheek like the accent too sharp. I did better on the other side because there's a bit better of a reference. This is hard. Maybe like this? Something like that. It's funny because like my pen came with like 8 tips and I go through an entire tip every session that has heavy indenting. Let's finish filling in her face and we'll call it a day for now. My poor tip has just about had enough as well. I'm just gonna fill in the whole thing, and then I can add the like slightly darker blush strips after I finish filling this part out. That one piece of hair took me way longer than I thought it would. The optimal solution for me, like the optimal result of my inpainting is that like by the end of the day, if I turn everything back on, you shouldn't be able to tell that like I did anything. at like a casual glance. Okay, let's move over. Oh, that doesn't look bad. I don't think my original lines were too bad. Yeah, I can fill in the... So what I'm thinking is I'll fill it in, and then if I notice that it looks like too weird, then I can always draw on top and like correct. And that way I'll like naturally figure out the lines by like just what looks right. Yo, like, see how, like, right here, this looks like it might bulge out just a little bit? And that looks a little weird? Like, I can see that now with more color, so I can, like, redraw the boundary, like, here. I'm gonna erase this extra stuff. I think it's okay. Okay, so now the last thing I need to do today is go back over here to the blush. Oh, also I want to make sure I blend the inside of this part to make it more shadowy. The last thing I need to do is grab this color, like right at the edge here. And then fingertip blur across. That doesn't look quite right. Because the idea is that I want them to look a little bit darker because they're like she's still blushing, but it's covered by the shadow of her hair. So like the pink needs to be like a couple shades darker. Like here maybe. Well, like it doesn't look blurry, but it still looks like it's covered, you know? Like it's the same thing but just darker. Okay, I think that was good. Okay. Oh, I didn't. I said zoom out. Okay. So now, if I turn all of her hair back on. Okay. Looks fine for the most part. And you can see now how a distance, since her hair is underneath her face, you can see how, like, if you zoom out a bit, now this looks like it's just shadow. Like, you just can't see the tips of her hair, but you can see how, like, the discoloration that I was putting in now makes this look like it's just the shadow of her hair. If you could see underneath it. One step closer to our dream. I'm quoting someone on that, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, it's Home from Nika. So yeah, why is my entire canvas deselected? That's kind of scary. Okay. So now, like next time, what I have to do is I want her hair to be dynamic. So there are 3 things I have to do before I think I can start rigging. I think at the end of next time I'll actually be able to start doing this. I think I'll maybe need 1 or 2 more sessions of just cutting and inpainting before I can actually start rigging or learning how to rig. But the next step is gonna be turn all her hair off again, inpaint everything here so that her face is like, you know, a face instead of like this like top half being weird. I have to then cut her eyebrows out. Well, I have to cut her eyebrows out and paint underneath them, paint up here, cut each of these highlights in her eyes out individually. Thankfully I mean the hard part is that after I cut them out I then have to inpaint her eyes. I've already done it with this highlight actually. You see I can turn that highlight off. I've done it with the top one too. See both of these can be turned off. I've cut that eye out itself. And I've also cut like the actual surrounding eye out before. But that's the level of detail that I have to cut at, is individual highlights need their own layers. Which is why naming your layers is so important. So I have to do everything in her eye as like its own highlight. And then do the same thing on the right hand side. Well, her left. And then I have to draw her mouth opening. Or like the layer for her mouth open. You don't have to have anything like amazing for this, but I would like something nice, but I don't think I'm skilled enough to draw it, but we'll see. Worst case is I commission like just her mouth from someone and then add it as its layer. Not necessarily. The way that you actually get it to work is you cut, like for example, like this is her resting expression. Like, I'm a very smiley person, so she's naturally smiling too. I have to cut this line for her mouth in half so that the top half and the bottom half are their own layers. And then I have to draw like an open mouth in the middle. And then the program will animate different expressions by moving the top and bottom of the mouth different ways and then exposing the inner layer. So you don't have to like draw the same mouth like 15 different ways. I'm done for this cutting stream, but if you want I can kind of show you like what I mean by that. So let me go ahead and turn everything back on. Oh, also I have her fox tails and I have her fox fire no tails turned off, just because I find it easier not to cut if I like don't have to worry about the tails. Like if I'm cutting what is hair or tail. So whole thing. So, that said, let me, thank you. Let me go ahead and put her back into the state that I usually start in, which is hide her tails and hide her foxfires. And then zoom in on her ever so cute face. Okay. So, let me save. Okay. And then I need to save, I think it's export. Or is it just save as? Okay, so there's a... No, wait, I'll do save duplicate. And I need a Photoshop document for this one. Aki cutting. This looks different. I don't remember it being like this. Okay. I am using Clip Studio Paint Pro. I asked Yabi what they used to draw Aki, and they told me Clip Studio Paint Pro. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll use it too then. Because I was investigating this or Photoshop. I ended up going with this. It's cheaper and it's a little bit more tailored to drawing, whereas Photoshop is better at just general image editing. But CSP is a little more friendly for drawing, I think, is the general consensus. Anyway, so as an extra bonus, we can I can actually show you what the program I'm using looks like. I actually do have the stream set up for how you do this, so if you give me just a second to boot it up. Okay. Let's see, a new version came out, but I don't have it. Okay, can you see the new document that I pulled up? The new screen? So what you can do here is import PSDs. It'll go in and be like, based on this size, like here's the preview size, like the more layers you have. So as you can see, she's in here, and I can do like different levels of visualization just like before, like I can turn the tails on and off. So let's look at main character, and just as I've been making, you see how you can see each of these individual pieces have their own like layer now, right? So like, since I've worked hard on this and like given her her central hairpiece, that piece. You see I have it highlighted? It's its own art mesh now. I can then actually like do an automatic mesh generator and then be like, let's put a standard mesh on this. So now this piece of hair has its own mesh, and the way that the animations will work is it will deform this mesh, so I can do things like, see how like I can like peel up the hair to show what's underneath?
Shall we go out in it?
Or like stretch it out. Or like you can move, like you can rotate it now. But because there's nothing underneath, you see how like now it looks bad. So let's instead do this piece since I have painted under this event. Or like let's do her hairpin actually. Her hairpin would be better. Do automatic. Let's do heavy deformation. Okay. So now see, I can like pull individual pieces of her hairpin to like make them rotate different ways. Or I could like spin her hairpin around. But see how like if I hadn't unpainted, since I've painted under it, there's like not the same weird like transparent hole in the canvas that there was before. That was because I did the inpainting. as for like what this is used for, like see I can move it around now. So like what it would do, like let's say if I like move quickly, what it might do is like this might get translated to like over here, rotated slightly, and then like the tail, like this whole part would get like deformed like like it might do deformations like this, or like you can kind of see like I'm stretching it. Like if I were turning really fast, like this is how you get like motion, right? And then it would just immediately undo all of that once it got to the right position. Or like instead of having to like draw my eyes in different positions, like if I just grab this guy, give it like a warp deformer. You can see how like my eye's shape can be jiggled around now, right? I could do like this. It'd just be like, if I like deform it inward. Hold on, not that one. Go to this one. I think it was this one. Like if I shrink all of it inward. It's a little hard to do this manually, obviously, but I shrunk it a little bit too fast. Well, you could, I think you get the concept of like, without changing the actual image, I could do the thing where like my pupil, like my iris shrinks really small, like I'm surprised, or like I'm going insane or something, right? So that's how that works. So that's why you don't need to draw like 15 different mouths to get all of your expressions, because you just need the top lip, the bottom lip, and the internals, and then you can display them or like move the top and bottom to formulate different expressions and show the inside to things. Yeah, it'll be great. I'm looking forward to having it done. So, but as you can see, like even just doing that sort of stuff, like let's just do even more simple, like just move her eye. See how like there's a hole behind it? It's because I haven't inpainted her eye yet either. Like I haven't inpainted behind the iris. So like if I'm like doing like a dirt face, you see like I can't like go full derp yet because I haven't cut my left eye. So I can't move that around independently either. And now you see like why I'm trying so hard to go into detail of cutting every piece so that it can move on its own. And why I have to paint behind everything. I feel like it's a lot easier to just show you this than try to explain it, showing the void parts. And similarly, that's why with her hair movement, like I wanted to inpaint so that like if I like you see how now like I just moved the hair. I can do this since I'm just derping around, and this isn't necessarily to stay. Let's undo the rotation for a second. Okay. So if I like take her left hairpiece for example and move it all the way up, so it's top level. I moved something weird. Anyway, let's see. Let's take right frontal hair. Let's move it on. So see now, like if I move her hair like a little bit, like so you can stretch and deform and stuff too. But like if I just see like how if I rotate it a little bit, like because I painted in already underneath it, now it looks like it's just the shadow. That's why I did that. It's really cool when you, like, as it comes together piece by piece. It just takes forever and a year. And you can see, like, since I haven't inpainted behind everything yet, there's holes here and there's holes there. Oh yeah. This is why, like, people charge so much money if they do this for you. Especially if they're professionally, like, going at it as hard as I am, if not even harder, in terms of, like, making every individual thing its own layer and allowing each component to move individually like that, like I am. Because it's not only the fact that you have to do the cutting, you also have to do a lot of inpainting. If it was just cutting, I probably would have been done already. Because, like, it takes me maybe 10 minutes to line up a really good cut. Maybe a bit longer, since I'm inexperienced, but the entire rest of that hour is inpainting. So yeah, it's really cool though. It just takes ages and ages and ages of effort. So my original objective was to do the entire cutting set for Aki myself and then also do her rigging. I haven't really looked into how hard doing her rigging is going to be. And since I can't use her until all of it is done, what I'm thinking of is I might end up not doing the rigging myself. I will definitely finish the cut done. The question of doing the rigging is the hard part. Technically. But I'm going to at least attempt it. I won't give up a priori. But I also really want to use Aki soon. But it's also hard to find people who are open to doing it on priority because everyone wants things like this done. So. It is also a fun thing where if I'm actually good enough with this, I could theoretically also offer to do it for other people for similar sums of money. Though lower because I'm not professional at it and I've only done it myself, but I think that would be cool. So yeah, that's the entire process and kind of, you see why it's like so important to do all this inpainting behind hair now. And like for example, the left hairpiece. Since I finally did the inpainting on that today too. Like if I deform it away from the hairpiece that it's like covering, there's still hair underneath that now. But yeah. So the other thing is that you also not only do all of your layers have to be well organized and each individual component needs its own layer, you also need to have your layers in a specific order. So like for example with like the way that I have it right now, if my hair folder is on top of my ornament folder, my ornament becomes invisible. Like watch. See? Like you can see it coming out from underneath, but you can't see the main body of the ornament because it's the layers in the wrong order. So I have to move it down so you can actually see the ornament. Which is why like higher end cuttings, like the kind that I'm going for, generally will have something like 300 layers. Like you will have at least 100. Depending on like how complex your character is. For me, I'm already up to Yeah, that's what a lot of people try to do. My Foxfire is 5 layers. Yabi did all of that though. My hair is currently 5 layers. It's going to be 6, 7, 8. It's going to be at least 8 layers. The 5 that I have, these 2 things each get their own layer. These 2 like parts hanging down, and then the entire back of her hair gets one.
The number you dialed is not in service.
So, and then ears. Her ears are currently only 2 layers each. The inner layer of floof and then the outer ear itself are each layers. So you can like turn the floof off. Okay, and painted the. I cut the floof out. But like I did the cut on the left ear left, like my second time. And I think if I go up and zoom in, you can kind of see it. Like you can see there's like a little bit of over painting here, like where it's a little like that. But if you look at the left, that's not the case. Like I got better. My cuts are cleaner on the left side. It also didn't help that I was rushing the first session, trying to explain all of these concepts. It was a pretty popular stream, so. But I think it's cool to like also see the entire process of something if you're really interested in it. Like you can always do like I could always do like a speed compilation of it at the end. I think that would be pretty cool to watch. Anyway, that said, I think I'm gonna end for today. I hope you learned a lot from my stream.
The number you dialed is
And I
not
hope you
in
found it really
service.
interesting. So, any other questions before I go out for the night?
The number you dialed is not in service.
Okay, I'm glad that you said that you learned a lot and that you don't have any other questions right now. Yay! That's all I can hope for. Is that since I like have never done this, I'm trying to just document everything so that people can learn alongside me. I think it would be kind of neat.
The number you dialed is not in service.
Have a wonderful night. Take care, everyone. And I shall see you in the next stream. Please take care. And thank you.